Technology is advancing in such a way that humanity can't keep up. Even as a reporter, just looking at the stories, it is astonishing to see the technological advancements that are happening. And of course, the scarier, larger implications of them, which there are a lot. And that's why in this video, we are going to highlight three important tech videos, which, Jason, literally like make me want to crap my pants, especially the story in China, especially the story of satellite laser imaging taking over the night sky. This is no exaggeration, but let's just get to the first story that started this. And this is a story by Vox talking about how an artificial intelligence triumphed against the world's top pro team in a strategy game, Dota 2. And this is the first time an AI has been able to beat world champion esports teams using, of course, artificial intelligence, which scientists say took a combined 45,000 years of practice in that game technologically, and used that information to beat a team of highly skilled players, what some people are calling the best players in this immersive video game. And this, holy crap, Jason, should terrify people, because obviously with them beating them in this strategy kind of fighting video game, you could only imagine the implications that this has with the Pentagon, with most Pentagon officials probably getting a hard on hearing this news.
Well, what it shows is kind of the next level of the Watson technology, where Watson was able to beat the world's best chess players. Now you have a group of individuals on a game that not as many programmers obviously have been working on. When they say 45,000 years, again, that's combined intelligence. That's more than one computer doing this if you think about it. So even though human beings still learn faster, we don't have all the resources at our fingertips. So this is extremely big. This shows that now open AI systems that are outside of just the government, Luke, are beating human beings at a rapid pace. And as we know, technology just keeps growing and growing and growing. It doesn't go ooh like this. It goes and it shoots up. So, some of the, I actually enjoyed this article because they do at the very end start talking about, hey, by the way, this could seriously threaten humanity. And a lot of people realize this. But when you look at the big players in AI, right now they're saying there are about 9 companies. Where is it? About 9 companies that are going to control the future. By the way, artificial intelligence also singles out neurons faster than a human can at this point. That's pretty impressive. I mean, again, we're getting there. Well, Google, one of the biggest companies in it, they're disbanding their review boards, their ethics boards. So, everybody refers to Skynet, and Skynet is actually referred to in that Vox article, but they are taking in a massive amount of data, Luke.
Yeah, and this is not the first time that they did this. They, of course, are doing this very quietly, because we have to understand the artificial intelligence power is a vast power. There's a reason Vladimir Putin called artificial intelligence akin to the next nuclear weapon, and they are in the private hands of technocratic monopolies like Google, like Amazon. Facebook is even building one, for frick's sakes. All companies with horrible track records, not only for human rights, but privacy, but are just horrible companies in general. And this is going to be done outside the hand of government, in cooperation with government. And they're doing this because, again, any accountability, they could just quietly disband and no one really knows about. Which leads me to my next terrifying story that makes you poop your pants out of fear of the next Terminator-style future, is advertising. Advertising that, of course, is becoming more intrusive, and ways that you cannot escape them, which now will include looking up into the freaking night sky. Yeah, I'm not joking here, because Pepsi is announcing their artificial constellation that they are going to be putting up in the star system to promote a new energy drink, a freaking energy drink. I'm going to try to look at the stars and contemplate my existence in this reality and how vast the universe is. And then I'm going to have to freaking see a Pepsi sports energy advertisement. Again, this is another thing I want to get into, with just how advertising is going to become so intrusive. It's going to be impossible to avoid. It already is, but there's going to be sections of establishment elite people who are literally going to pay extra just to not have advertising binged into their heads. That's really the future that we're heading into. But this story particularly, it is about a Russian company called Star Rocket, and it says it's going to launch a cluster of CubeSats, little satellites into space that will act as an orbital billboard projecting enormous advertisements into the night sky like artificial constellations. And its first client, it says, will be PepsiCo. Jason, what do you make of this?
It's just the next step of advertising, man. If you watch all the science fiction stuff like Blade Runner, where you see the holograms projected into the sky, even if you look at Back to the Future, right? Billboards were moving, they were in 3 dimensions. Well, this is just the next step. So what they're doing is they're going to put up mini satellites that have holographic projectors. And this technology has been around for some time now. I mean, I remember when Will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas went on CNN as a hologram, and you had Tupac performing, I think it was at Coachella, as a hologram. It's become a little bit more mainline, but you see it in rare bursts. Next step.
Andrew Yang is coming out as a hologram. That's literally his plan for the presidential election, is to he was doing musical performances with Tupac as a hologram, and he's going to continue to do that. Sorry, I cut you off, Jason. Do you want to introduce this next story, or should I?
Go for it.
The last story that we're going to talk about, another terrifying one. Get your diapers ready. Specifically with the New York Times article. And surprisingly, we have to give credit where credit is due. The New York Times has been doing actually good work when it comes to China and, of course, reporting what is happening to their Muslim minority population that many people say are living under conditions akin to concentration camps in China after being, of course, surveilled, subjugated, and put into what do the Chinese call them? The Chinese call them
re-education centers.
Yeah, re-education centers. In reality, horror stories are coming out of torture, of death in that specific camp. But regarding that whole situation, New York Times just came out with an article saying in their title, 1 month, 500,000, 500,000 face scans, how China is using AI to profile a minority. In a major ethical leap for the tech world, Chinese startups have built algorithms that the government uses to track members of a largely Muslim minority group. And this does not surprise me. It is absolutely terrifying. They do this with the state in China. In the United States, they do it with your Amazon Echo and your Amazon Alexa, which of course also has been documented, just employees listening to you in many different ways. Now, the Chinese one is more severe. It is more in your face, and it's something to extremely consider, worry about, and ponder, since of course China is the major testing ground of Big Brother, of the technocratic oppression of human civilization, of the human will and spirit. Is there anything else really to say about that, Jason? Am I wrong? Am I too hyperbolic?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that they also reveal in that they already have a large DNA database. Forget about just the facial recognition stuff, but DNA database to associate with all that and all the other big analytical data in China. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They are the test case for the new world order type surveillance slave state that they would like us all to live under. But when talking about artificial intelligence and talking about Google, who does vast amounts of business with China. In fact, on the main channel yesterday, we put up a video of how China and Google are heavily integrated in the tech world, despite China's espionage, by the way. But when we were talking about them disbanding ethics boards of artificial intelligence, we should also note at the same time they're doing that, they're opening up an artificial intelligence lab in Ghana, Africa. Can you imagine what the regulations are going to be like in this place? And of course, many of these citizens have major concerns about privacy because where are they going to be harvesting this data from? The ethics on this alone, moving it out of the United States in that jurisdiction for something such a large project should frighten everybody, Luke. This is a very insightful article. I know it's by CNN, a lot of fake news coming out of CNN these days, but I would encourage people to go through this because they're really propagating most of the benefits. You notice that's the meat and potatoes of the article. And then at the very end, it's like, oh, there's a couple privacy concerns. There's a bit of privacy concerns over here with Google moving in with their artificial intelligence programs. So stuff to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought up the kind of less accountability because again, this is all done by a quasi-private corporate entity. Again, it needs to be called out. Less and less people are talking about it. Less and less people are talking about China. These are important issues that we're putting ourselves on the line to talk about, when of course there are clear present dangers with these forces, with these powers only becoming more powerful, and it needs to be called out. It needs to be held accountable. That's what we're trying to do here, and that's why you guys are more important than ever to share this video and to, of course, support us on wearechange.org/donate. If it wasn't for you, we would not be here. wearechange.org/donate. Visit that website, support independent media, vote with your dollar, and because you guys do that and allow us to have this job, this is why I always end as many broadcasts as I can saying, love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.